he has some weaknesses, he is the darling of everyone. So here, there's the sentence, both the clauses itself has a contrast, right? So let's look at our options. Option A, though. Option B, in spite of. Option C, besides. Let's take a look. Though he has some weaknesses, he is still the darling of everyone. Makes sense. In spite of his weaknesses, he is the darling of everyone. That also makes sense, right? Now, besides again, like we saw earlier, means in addition to or apart from, right? And it's not the right fit. Besides his weakness, he is the darling of everyone, not the logical fit. So let's put down the right constructions. Right? Besides would not be right. So that's only A and B, and that option is in C. The chief guest arrived, the proceedings of the functions began. Option A, having. Option B, only when. And option C, the arrival. So if I have to use having, I should say the chief guest having arrived, the proceedings of the functions began. It's not a very effective construction. I'll have to break the clause in between. Let's look at option B. Only when the chief guest arrived, the proceedings of the functions began. So basically you're saying only after the chief guest arrived did the proceedings of the functions begin. The arrival of the chief guest, and then it becomes a little awkward to connect the next clause, right? So the only option that is correct, appropriate and logical so that is only in option B. Okay, so let's look at this. Sentence connectors, this is the type of question. I'm sure most of you are already aware of this. Let's look at it. The teachers were present at the meeting. That's one sentence. The headmaster was present at the meeting. That's the second sentence. And our options is while, as well as, and even though. So basically, when I say sentence connectors, I have to connect these two sentences using any one of the options, which makes it meaningfully complete, right? That's the context. So can we have complex sentence connectors in daily test, please? Answering this, yes, we can. But let's answer this question here. So some of you are saying 1, some of you are saying 2. So let's look at it. So who are my two parties? If you look at it, what is repeating is present at the meeting, present at the meeting. So what are my subjects? The teachers. The next subject is the headmaster. Right? Obviously teachers plural, so where? Headmaster single. So what? So when we're combining these two, what happens? We have two subjects, and when two subjects are there and you combine it with and, obviously it will be a plural verb. So now let's look at our options. I can't say the teachers were present at the meeting while the headmaster was present at the meeting. For me, is it meaningfully complete? When I use while, I'm talking more on the lines of while these two were present in the meeting, what happened? There is no meaty information for that. So I wouldn't say while is, right, a very, very effective word, because it's talking about two very constant things that are happening. Both of them are present in the meeting. So what happened while they were present in the meeting? Nothing is there, right? Nothing is contradicting, or there is no secondary element or new element introduced. So while is not very effective. What about as well as? Let's look at that. The teachers as well as the headmaster were present at the meeting. Now this makes more sense, right? Because as well as meaning in addition to the teachers, the headmaster also is there. Even though we don't even need here, because again, the two sentences, there is no contradicting thoughts here, clashing, right? While doing two things at the same time, meaning you're not doing the same thing, same two things, right? You're doing two different things. So that's why I'm saying the context is not giving us two different things. It's the same thing. So that's why while is not very effective. I would go with option 2 only, as well as. So just to put it down, I'll say the teachers as well as the headmaster, right, were present at the meeting. That's it. Yeah. See again, quickly, when you're putting it in a context, just in terms of subject-verb agreement, because in finding errors, right, because I've put teachers as the subject here, plural subject, right, I've put where. But in case you want to put headmaster first, the headmaster as well as the teachers was present, because as well as is just additional example.